Hey guys, thanks for joining us. Just a quick, brief introduction here. If you found us via the internet, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Craigslist, YouTube, LinkedIn, any of that stuff, awesome. If you're here for the free 20 to 30 credit score points, it's a little bit after the 30-minute mark in video one of our recorded webinar. Again, after the 30-minute mark, just listen for the free 20 to 30 points. You'll get all that information there. We invite you to watch the rest of the videos too. If you guys made it here for the credit repair or to start your own credit repair business, please watch videos 1 and videos 2. Video 2 will start right after video 1. It's about an hour and 40 minutes. You guys make sure you watch all of it. A lot of key, cool, critical, free information in these videos. At the end of video 2, we will show you what to do, what the next steps in this, how to make money, start your business, do all that good stuff. So again, thanks guys for joining us. If you're here for the 20 to 30 credit score points, a little bit after the 30-minute mark, you'll find it there. We invite you to watch the entire video. Thanks guys. Hello, good evening everyone. Thanks for joining us. We're live. This is also going to be recorded in case you're a little bit late or you want to watch it at a later time. This will be recorded. I'm going to spend the first 20 minutes or so going over who we are, what we know, what we do, and why we're different from everyone else out there. We're all here to make money. That's probably why you're watching this. A lot of you are here to fix your credit. I've had several people for 15 plus years now that have an old charge-off or student loans they can't get rid of, or a repossession, bankruptcy, all that stuff. The bottom line is that everything can legally be removed from your credit bureaus. And I'm going to go in a lot of details here on how we do it, kind of expose the credit bureau, the companies out there, Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, and why they're all kind of in cahoots with each other. And that's the credit repair companies as well. A lot of you guys out there, a lot of people subscribe to Credit Karma or something of that nature that monitors your credit scores. Right out of the gate, those are, I don't want to say a made-up score, but they're just a score. And what they're called is a Vantage score. And that's not your true score. Your true score is a FICO score. And that's what every major bank, every credit card company, every car dealership, home loan, whatever, they're going off of a FICO score. So a lot of people are misled by that. I did an experiment probably about 8 years ago now where I went out and I paid that monthly service for 7 different credit repair companies. And I also got those score updates. Now, 2 of the credit scores were the same. The other 5 were totally different. Okay. And they were ranging anywhere from 30. And the highest one, I think, was 68 points difference that they showed me. So I went and pulled my real true credit score. And there was basically an average of about 70 points difference in my true FICO score. So a lot of those companies are giving you lower scores to get you hooked into there to get that monthly fee out of you and collect it and collect it and collect it. A lot of them, credit consumer counseling is another bad one too. A lot of those places will suck you along and we're going to make deals with this company to pay this debt off. And that's something you can do on your own. You know, a lot of companies, it used to be even for automobile loans, is that they wouldn't take somebody that was in credit consumer counseling. So once you've written all that out, you've paid all these companies back that were originally supposed to be paid on time. You have a paid, ugly old piece of credit. Okay. I learned a long time ago, I must have been 19 years old. I got my first few credit cards and my grandmother, oh, I forgot to tell you, I didn't pay for them. I was 19, 20, took these credit cards out. I had a Bond card. I think I even had a Staples card or an Office Depot card of some nature. And what's a 19, 20-year-old kid doing with that card? Well, the answer was they gave it to me. So my thinking was back then is, wait a minute, I can go in the Bon Marché, get this nice sweatshirt or a pair of jeans, swipe this card and pay for it later. So naturally, being young, being this generation of folks that don't pay their bills, and we'll get to that whole thing too as well down the road, but I didn't pay for them. So my grandmother let me, I think it was $4,400 to go in and pay these bills off that were old and they were charged off. So she was disgusted, I think she was probably in her late 60s then. And, she didn't miss a paper route bill like most of our parents did. So I went down, paid off all this stuff. I walked in, I was going to get a loan. That was my thinking. I belonged to Boeing Employees Credit Union since I was 8 years old, I think. My aunt worked there, got me a savings account. And I think I put $50 in it and just kind of putted around with it off and on. So I still had that account there. So I waltz myself into the Boeing Credit Union, sit down with the lady, fill out an application. I'm excited. I'm ready to get a fresh loan, right? So she takes all my information. I can tell she's looking at it. I knew she was there, older woman, and she was kind of looking at me funny because I'm all pumped up, ready to go. Where's my check? I'm trying to get a loan here, blah, blah, blah. So I tell her, hey, I don't have any debt. I paid off all the credit cards that I had. Those are at zero balance and they're all paid in full. And she's staring at me, staring at the credit bureau. She looks up at me and goes, okay, so you want us to give you credit for paying the bills that you were supposed to pay years ago? That stuck with me. That was 26 years ago or so. And I never forgot that. So here we are, you fast forward through all the internet, Credit Karmas and all that. And that's the same idea. These companies want to pay the debts back that you should have paid, that you can negotiate yourself to pay. Most of these places on an old debt, if you owe them $800, you call and tell them you're going to give them $300-400, they're going to take it, or they're going to take something. Anyway, I am with 650 Funding, Credit 650, and just want to go over what we do. What I am is I have been around credit for 21 years. I started at the car business in 1992. I was 19 years old, and I got a job selling cars. So I wasn't very good at it. I was young, and the owner really liked me. He was a younger guy, and I think he ran into some money from his parents, and he was in the car business and opened up a little car lot. So I did okay there. I sold some cars, and the guy liked me enough to where he stuck me into a finance position. And this was a smaller car lot where they did a lot of cash deals, and there was some banking involved and paperwork and all that. But I normally seen cash or good credit to where there really wasn't nothing to it, but it intrigued me. I had a pretty cool finance job at 23 years old, whatever I was back then, and it was cool. So you fast forward a couple of years after that, he ended up closing the car lot, got into some trouble there with the DMV and shut it down. So I go and I get into special finance. Now, this was in 1997, late 97. And that's when special finance, which is bad credit financing for auto loans, first got into play. So I went into a dealership, I applied, and I told them I was a finance guy for years, and I didn't have that much experience doing it. So I got myself in there, sold some cars, and then you had to learn about credit in there too, because you're basically telling the clients that, hey, your credit's bad, that's why this bank's doing this, and your interest rates are high, so on and so forth. So you fast forward about 9 months later, and I got myself into the finance job. So completely different. It was like me starting fresh and learning this all new deal of this special finance thing. So I got in there and I'm looking at these horrible credit scores. I knew we got them loans, but I'm going, okay, why are banks doing this? So I got real good at it and I picked everyone's brain. I called all the banks. I had the reps on the phone. I would hang up with them after I picked their brain, call back the next day, or I would call on a weekend and get a out-of-state buyer that was working on weekends. Any information I could get, I wanted it so I could be good at my job. So I did that. I had local reps come by the dealership and I'd spend hours with them and ask the stupidest questions. I didn't care. I wanted to learn this. So I got really, really good at it. And I was probably the best guy as explaining credit and explaining what to expect in the future, how this loan's going to help you out, so on and so forth. So people started giving me all their clients that we couldn't do stuff with. And I would sit down with them and I would say, hey, this is what you need to do. You've got this collection, you've got an old student loan, an old repo from years ago, excuse me, or whatever the case was, student loans, collections, credit cards that were charged off, anything. So I showed all these people how to fix that, get their credit better so they can come back and see the salesman and we'd sell them a car. So I started doing that for about 2 years. And then I thought to myself, well, why am I doing this for free? So that's when I started thinking about getting a credit repair company. Now, I didn't know anything about it. I knew I could help the clients here and maybe do a little bit outside of here. So I figured it all out, and I figured out how, folks were writing the credit bureaus, and that didn't work, and got behind the scenes stuff on how it all worked, So I got out of the car business, and then that's when I started really focusing on this credit repair and learned a lot of stuff. And I'm going to share basically probably 60% of this in the first video or two, and then the additional videos will give you the whole deal. Okay. So again, that's kind of my background and what I know, but the proof's in the pudding, and the proof will be given to you in these videos. All right. So again, we're all here to make money. I'm going to show you how to do this. You're going to basically become a credit counselor. Okay. Now, where I come into play is that I don't have time anymore to do all of this credit repair stuff. So I want to get it out there and share this information so folks like you guys can get the credit better, send them to me, and then I can get them loans. Okay. Personal loans. Business loans. There's so much money to lend out there now, and a lot of people don't know it. A lot of companies are in desperate needs. I've seen it in the car business too, when companies were, buying trucks and they couldn't get loans, and I would talk to them about that. I had one guy a year later, he told me I saved his business. I had him go down. He went down to, he was ex-Old Navy, and went to Navy Federal Credit Union. He didn't even know he can get a membership there, and they helped him out. I think it was with $60,000. So he came back a year later, brought me a bag of Dick's cheeseburgers up there in Seattle, and said thanks. Shook my hand. But that was kind of cool. So we're going to get into. There's a lot of stuff that I want to go over. This is going to be repetitive. A lot of this. I want everyone, make sure you have a pen and paper, and you're writing a bunch of stuff down here, because this stuff is super, super important. I'm probably going to say the same thing 3, 4, 5 times, but that's because it's got to be done. Okay. So what I want you guys to do, the first thing we got to do is, this is a kind of a homework assignment for you guys. Okay. And then we're going to go over a little bit more of this on why we're doing this here. But what you guys need to do is get your credit reports. Okay. And there's 2 websites that I want you to get them from. Don't go on any Fix My Credit Company websites or free credit report here, blah, blah, blah. Don't do that. 2 sites to go to only, and I'm going to give those to you now. So grab your pencils and pens or whatever you got to write with, okay? The first one is creditchecktotal.com, okay? Creditchecktotal.com, all right? The next one is annualcreditreport.com. Okay, annualcreditreport.com. One of those 2 sites, get your credit reports from there. Okay, don't use anything else. Super, 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 super important. Okay, so get those credit reports there. That's going to be your first assignment. Okay. So also to you guys, very important, after you get those credit reports, because they're going to want to charge you. Okay. So get your credit reports, print them, go back in and cancel it. You have 7 days or 30 days on the other one to cancel them before they charge you the $29.99, $49.99. Okay. So very, very important. Print them and cancel them. Okay. On annual credit report, the FTC forces them to give you once a year your credit reports for free. Okay. So if you've already done that inside a year, you're going to have to pay that little bit of a fee, but don't worry about it. Just pay it. It's the $10, whatever it is, and you're done. Okay. So again, make sure you cancel it after that. Now, here's a little bit about me exposing the credit companies and all that good stuff too. So if you have to go in there and pay, or if you don't have to pay, if you're looking to do some other services with them, and they're trying to get as much money out as you can. Okay. So what they're going to do is, you guys probably have seen this. There's going to be 4 security questions that they ask you. And those security questions are things that they're true, but they're way old. They're going to say something like, I had one that says, I think it was 2003, you had an auto loan with such and such bank for $287.36. It was just a crazy numbers that there's no way you could remember them. That's done on purpose. I repeat, that's done on purpose. That way you do not get the answer correctly and they're going to charge you. Okay. So all those questions are basically impossible to answer. You're not going to get all 4 of them right because they're all goofy questions that nobody's going to remember unless you're Rain Man and have an absolute perfect memory. Okay. So that's just one thing there with the credit bureaus. Okay. So there is also, again, back to the credit fixer-upper companies, whatever you want to call them, the Credit Karmas, all that stuff out there that's going to help you fix your credit. A lot of those, some of those, okay, are owned by the credit bureaus. The 3 major credit bureaus have multiple companies out there, and they're all in cahoots together, okay? And I'll go in a little bit more about that too. That's a whole nother wicked game. They don't want to give you information. They don't want you knowing this information. It's a money pit. It's a business. It's just like anything else out there. Everybody's trying to make a buck here, okay? But again, I'm going to legally show you how to get anything removed, all right? So again, you guys, make sure that you pull those credit bureaus, those credit reports, print them, cancel the membership so we're not charged for it down the road, okay? There's no need to keep it going once you've printed them for now, all right? Okay, guys, and the next step in this is going to be to open up your business, okay? So simple to do. It's not like you got to run down and grab an office somewhere and start setting up shop and do all this stuff, and it's going to take months and months and months. This literally takes, you can do it all online. You can depending on where you're at, what state you're in, you can do most of this online, all of it online, except for the business license part of this. Some states require you to go down and do it there, which is not a big deal either. Okay. So 3 simple things that you want to do. And there's 2 ways that you can do this and either become a licensed registered or you can become an affiliate. Okay. And they both work. I kind of recommend just right out of the gate to become an affiliate. Not that the other part of this is hard to do or anything, but number one is if you want to register your own business, what you're going to have to do is create a business. Okay. You can get online. You're going to need a business license with whatever state that you're in. Super, super simple to do. A lot of you probably have done that before. It's 20, 30 bucks, 40, 50 bucks, depending on where you're at, what state, but create a business. Okay. Make sure you guys are writing this down too. Okay. So, and then if you want to become an affiliate too, I'll show you how to do that after this one. So create a business. And then what you're going to do is get a website, basically just a landing page right out of the gate. Whatever you choose your business name, make sure your website's either the same or very, very similar. I've tried to do that too over the years. Okay. And then what you're going to have to do, this kind of might scare some people, is you're going to have to get bonded. Okay. And that's part of just having a credit repair company. Okay. That bond, depending on your credit, is anywhere from maybe $100 up to $1,000, 400, 600. All depends on your credit, and it all depends on what company you use. And I highly suggest shopping that. When I first did it years and years and years ago, there was a huge swing. My credit was pretty good then, but there was a big swing, and it depends on who's on the other end and how much they're trying to make off of you, just like anything, right? So that's what you're going to have to do. Get a business license. Get the website, which those are free anywhere. Just Google website and a million are going to pop up. Vistaprint's a great one. It's free for the first month and it's like $3 the next month or $12 or even I think it's 19 or 20 bucks for the premium one. That's a good site. GoDaddy's great. There's a million of them out there and that's nothing to do, right? So the next step of this is if you want to become an affiliate, and that is absolutely free. And that's super simple to do. That way you're up and running. So you just become an affiliate, get a website. You don't have to worry about the bond. Now, becoming an affiliate is super simple. Just get on the internet and all you're going to do is Google credit repair affiliate. And there's a gazillion of them that are going to pop up. Okay. They'll all take you. Doesn't cost $1 and they want you in there. Okay. So that's super, super simple to do. But again, I'll be repetitive and say this one more time. This is your new business. Okay. And I'm going to show you guys too how we're going to make money at this in just a minute. What you want to do, if you want to become your own business and be registered, create the business license with whatever state you're in, get a website, free, premium, is what you basically just need a launching pad right out of the gate. And then you got to become bonded. Or if you want to become an affiliate, get on the internet, Google credit repair affiliate and sign up. You're done. Then you're ready to rock and roll. Website, of course, naturally, when you become an affiliate too. Then you're ready to rock. Okay. Also, what I'm going to show you guys too, just in case you're kind of snoring or falling asleep at the wheel here, I'm going to show you how to get 20, 30 credit score points for free. I'll give all that information for free. 100% works, super easy. 99% of people don't even know about it, but stay tuned. I'll tell you about that. And then the money-making part of this. Now, a lot of you guys, entrepreneurs, okay, I get it. So your mind's going, okay, how am I going to make money off of this? What am I going to do? Now, there's tons of stuff. And when I first started this, I simply used a lot of people when I was in the car business I went to dealerships. Hey, if you've got folks that have bad credit or they can't buy a loan now, or somebody wants to get an old collection charge off their credit bureau, bankruptcy, whatever, have them call me. I'll show you how to do it. So I got a lot of business that way. And then I kind of moved on to bigger things when I got into the business loan side of this. And again, I've touched on it a little bit. There's a lot of people that need money and they're not credit worthy of doing it. So the magic thing, just like our name is 650. You want to be at that 650 or above credit score. That's the target score. That's the beginning or the lower end to where your clients are going to be able to get 30, 50, 60, $100,000 plus. And it happens all the time. It's just every bank, there's so many programs out there, so many guidelines, the promotions. Banks need to lend a ton of money one month. So they're going to kind of open up the floodgates and take a little bit lesser of a credit score or make exceptions when they normally wouldn't make exceptions 3 months ago when they were lent a bunch of money. There's so much to that. So I'll show you that. There's going to be a million ways to get leads. I'll show you all the leads. But the one thing that I want from everyone out there too is to send me the clients once you get rolling and you've got the leads to send them back to me. So how you're going to make money is you're going to get a referral from me. Okay. And it's a big one. It depends on the size of the loan. And we're going to get a percentage of that. And we'll go into all of that as well. But the main thing too, the entrepreneur side of this is, hey, I've got all this information. Zillions of people have bad credit. How am I going to get those people on board? So that's up to you. And I'm going to go over a million ways you can do it. With the social media out there, internet, Craigslist, everywhere, LinkedIn, there's so many avenues to do this. And what stands apart from this is not Credit Karma. This is not, I'm going to write the credit bureau and let's cross our fingers and hope that these things fall off our credit bureau. That doesn't work. Those do not work. Every once in a while, you might get lucky. And I'm going to show you all that too, why those don't work. It's really, really, really interesting. And you're going to be blown away by it on how big of a racket this is and how these credit companies do not want you to know all this stuff. Okay. So that's that. On to the 20, 30 credit score points. I'm going to show you how to do that here very, very shortly. I want to go over a few things here though too. So as far as the credit repair portion of this too, get your clients. There's a million of them out there. Once you get them, it's up to you what you want to charge. The standard rate for this is $1,000. You're going to charge them $1,000. I've had hundreds of people over the years that, don't know credit. It's like me, if I walked into Boeing or Microsoft, I wouldn't have a clue what I'm doing. So, you got somebody with an old ex-wife's credit card that's on the credit bureau. It won't go away. It's worth them to pay the $500 or $1,000 just to get rid of that, so there's a ton of those out there. And then I'm going to show you how you find those people. And with, being an entrepreneur like most of you guys are, you're going to figure that out too. It's really cool. I mean, it honestly really is. There's so much to this. I know I've said this about 6 times too. There's just, you brainstorm, and I used to stay up at night and say, gosh, I just need to share this information. You know, I used to go down to, I've been through 2 bankruptcies, one in 2001, and I went through one in 2013. And the one in 2001, boy, I felt like a criminal. I went in after I discharged, probably a year. I got stuck in an ugly car loan that was 30%. And I applied for an apartment. Me and my girlfriend at the time split up, and I ran up here. I was going to get a little 1-bedroom for $710 a month or $740 a month, whatever it was. And I went in there. This is my first one. This is probably '02, after I discharged a year, and I filled out the credit application. I wrote her a check for $35. That was to pay for the background check and the credit check and all of that good stuff too. Now, also too, this will kind of show you guys, give you a guy an idea what kind of day and age we're in here. Remember filling out a credit application and those boxes on there you used to see, have you ever been convicted of a felony, or have you filed for a bankruptcy? You notice how you don't see that anymore? And it's basically because of the bankruptcy, because everyone has filed one. That economy, the numbers are through the roof on how many people filed for BK in '08 to 2012. It's crazy. Okay. So long story short, I went back, turned in the $35, handed her the application, and I checked that little box. Have you filed a bankruptcy in the last 7 years? Yes, I did. I hop in my Jeep. I get out of the parking lot, and she calls me and says, hey, we're not going to turn in your application. You're bankrupt. Just like that. And I said, okay, that's fine. I said, well, I'm going to turn around and get my $35 back, and you guys can just shred the application. She goes, nope, we've taken that. That stuck with me. That was 16 years ago, and I'll never forget that, because that was just, it was embarrassing. It was humiliating. It was anger. It was not fun. You know, and I got stuck in huge interest rated car loans too. But those are the other people that you're going to see too. The folks, you know, to get rid of an old bankruptcy that's laying on there. Sure, they maybe have reestablished their credit, got some credit cards and some car loans, but that bankruptcy is not going anywhere for a decade. It's going to sit there. And again, I'll show you guys how to get rid of those. Super, super cool stuff. Okay, so we're going to move on to credit and credit reports. Okay. So basically, once you get your guys' credit reports, I want to get you familiar with them. The ones that you're going to see, that's your true credit report, and they're super easy to read. Once you get them, the top part of it's going to show you a breakdown of what's what codes mean. Like if you see a 30, that means a 30-day late. Most of them, if it's a good, clean credit bureau, it'll just say, okay, it'll be in green. It's self-explanatory. A 6-year-old could do it. Okay. So there's 4 major components to a credit bureau. Okay. These are basically in order, depending on what version you're looking at of your credit bureau. Okay. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. The first one is personal. Second one is your public records. Third one is all of the accounts that you'll see. And then the fourth one's inquiries. Okay. So back to number 1, that is personal. That's going to have your information in there, name, address, all the addresses that you're affiliated with. If you've moved, there's going to be several of them in there. And I'm going to get to this in just a few minutes. This is part of your free 20, 30 credit score points that are going to go along there, and I'll show you that too. Okay. So personal is self-explanatory. That's going to be your personal information, date of birth, so on. Okay. Second thing is public records. That's all public records. That's where your bankruptcy filings will be, IRS liens, tax liens, all that stuff there. That's the public records portion. And this is, again, super, super easy to read once you look at your credit bureaus, especially from annual credit report. Very, very easy. Accounts. That's going to be all the accounts, whether you have credit cards, car loans, mortgages, personal loans, anything in there, it's going to show your accounts. Okay. Whether you have 2 of them, 3 of them, 20 of them, they're all going to be in there. Now, depending on the bureau too, these ones are pretty thorough. The 2 ones that I told you guys to go to and pull your credit reports, really thorough. So you're probably chances are you're going to have some older credit in there and go, oh my gosh, I forgot all about that Mervyn's card I had. Something that's no longer around. But believe it or not, Mervyn's is still on the credit bureaus. I've seen them. So that's your accounts. The fourth thing is inquiries. And we haven't really touched on those too. And that's what, especially now with the internet, this is what really hurts people is inquiries. And I'm going to show you guys too how to get rid of those. We'll touch on that too. I'll touch on this a little bit here, but inquiries. Now, why these hurt people? Let's say you got your grandmother is at home. You got her a laptop. She's got herself a laptop. She wants to get a new credit card or she wants a bond card, whatever the case is. So if you Google whatever you're looking to do, bond card, Fred Meyer card, who knows who's on the other end of this? You get in there, you start putting in your information, social security numbers and all that. Next thing you know, if you're on the wrong site and they are out there like crazy, everybody and their mother is going to get a hold of your information and pull your credit. I've seen it. It's asinine. It's incredible how many times I've seen it where people literally will have a page of inquiries. I've seen, the most I've ever seen was this is in, keep in mind, 2 years time span with inquiries. I've seen 2 full 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper plus 3/4 of another sheet filled with inquiries. There's 2 columns in each piece of paper full of people that have pulled your credit. So that's another thing. You apply somewhere, you got 6, 8 inquiries, all of a sudden you're going to start losing credit score points. So kind of got off topic there. You guys grab a pen and write these down, okay? In order. Personal. Number 2 is public records. Number 3 is accounts. Number 4 is the inquiries, okay? And then again, if you get annual credit report or the other credit report too, super, super easy to read. You don't have to be a master at this. And the one thing I haven't touched on either is there's a lot of people out there that have had credit repair companies or they've been in finance or whatever the case. They work for a bank and they know credit. Everybody, please, and I can't stress this enough, I'm going to say it probably multiple times, throw everything out that you know or you think you know out the window, gone, nothing. I know nothing. Fresh ears. Remember, we're all here to make money. Everyone is listening to this for an opportunity to make money. So throw anything you think you know out the window and just follow these steps. It's simple. It's repetitive. It's the same thing over and over. And really, it's the simplest thing that there is to do. It really, really is. It's just a matter of how much are you going to work. You don't need to open up a store or go buy a big fancy suit or a briefcase and go from business to business and try to find all these. You need a computer and a couch and a cup of coffee in your house. Whether I've got people that work 10, 15 hours a week. They have jobs. They do it on the weekend. They do it at night, every other day or every night. There's so much you can do. If you make it full time, the possibilities are endless. I mean, we're talking $10,000 to $30,000 plus a month doing this or more. That's up to you. That's a total different subject, okay? So again, you guys, personal, public records, accounts, and inquiry. Write those down. And a little bit too, we're going to get into this 20 to 30 extra points here too right now, okay? This is super cool, okay? So the one thing you can't do, it's a federal law that you cannot collect a fee unless you've done something for a client as far as credit repair goes. So this is how cool you're going to do. However you meet your client, however you got them, hey, this is what I'm going to do in good faith to show you exactly what I know what I'm doing, okay? So the truth of this matter too is that 95% plus of everyone's credit bureau out there is going to have some incorrect information on it as far as your personal information goes. Okay. 95% plus. Almost everyone out there has incorrect information on their credit bureau personal. Okay. So here's what you do for the 20, 30 credit score points. Okay. Everyone grab their pen and paper. All right. First of all, this is how it's done. Okay. Most people do not know this, but your information back to your personal information, name, address, city, zip code, state, is 95% chance that it's wrong. Okay. So that goes back to anybody that submitted your information. Let's say you go to a car dealership and they mixed up a number or a digit. That's reporting to the credit bureau. That's on there for an address. So over the years, over time, 95% plus chance that it's incorrect. All right. So I'm going to show you how to do this. Now, back to your clients that you're going to have too, this is getting you in the door so they know you know what you're talking about. Most people aren't just going to hand over $1,000, $500, $1,500, whatever you're going to charge them to repair their credit, just hoping that you know what you're doing. Okay. So this kind of builds the trust. Plus, back to them, you're doing something for them before you take anything, before you collect a fee from them. Okay. So grab your pens again. Fax numbers. Okay. First one is Equifax. That fax number is 1-888-826-0549. 888-826-0549. The next one is TransUnion. That fax number is 610-546-4771. Experian, 972-390-5790. Okay. Now, the thing with these fax numbers, these aren't all not, you can Google all these all you want and you're going to get 5 million different fax numbers. Okay. These are the ones that are kind of the backdoor ones that are going to get you in there and get this stuff handled. Here is another key element that I've learned over the years. So many faxes are coming through to these companies, okay? Now, what you want to do is fax this after 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, after 9 p.m. That way, there's not going to be no answer. Most importantly, there's not going to be a busy signal, okay? So fax numbers, again, repetitive, sorry. Equifax 1-888-826-0549, TransUnion 610-546-4771, and Experian 972-390-5790. Now, I want you guys to do this too, so you know I know what I'm doing, okay? Very, very simple. So you got those fax numbers. The next step of this is how do you do it? You're going to write a letter, and it's a basic half a paragraph letter, okay? So you're going to put in there whatever case, to Equifax, to TransUnion, to Experian, whatever credit bureau you're doing, and make sure you do all three, obviously, right? So put that at the top of the headline, the date, and then just say, after reviewing my credit, I noticed my information was incorrect, something to that nature. That's really all you have to do. After reviewing my credit, I noticed a discrepancy in my address, whatever you want to say. Then you're going to attach a copy of your driver's license with the letter. So you're going to put the letter, copy of your driver's license with all of your exact information, okay? Now, back to why this stuff's off. If one digit is off on a zip code, or your name has your middle name and it says, Art D. Harris or Art Harris, that's an inconsistency. You're losing credit score points for that. So what I'm getting at, all three credit bureaus have to be identical, not a digit off, not a space off, not a number off, not nothing off. That's why you want this done. So again, all three of those credit bureaus, you guys have the fax numbers now. Write that simple letter, attach your driver's license. After 9 p.m., fax that over there. It's probably going to go through then. And then give it 48, 72 hours. That's it. And then you're going to gain 20, 30 points. It's in the mid-20s towards 30 points, but you will gain those points back. And that's just a little bit of secret, a little bit of information we wanted to share too. And most importantly, it's just an in with your clients. It's an absolute in. Then you're setting yourself up to charge them for the fee for doing whatever they want to do. Again, back to they got an old bankruptcy, a credit card, a charge-off, student loans, anything they want to get rid of. This is how you get in with them and gain trust and show them you know what you're doing. Then on the topic of credit too, if you Google this anywhere, you search anywhere, the general public does is, what makes up your credit score, what makes up your credit, your history, all that good stuff too. You can write this down too. This is pretty important stuff too. And it's kind of mind blowing what the outcome of this is too. But they say that there's basically 5 different elements of what is your credit scores based off of. Okay. Number one's payment history. Okay. That's about 35% is your payment history. That's what they claim is going to gain you the most credit score points, right? The algorithms, the credit bureaus, all that good stuff. Okay. So that's 35%. 30% of it is your balances. Now, most people are told that, oh, you want to keep a smaller balance or zero balances are not good. None of that's true. Or the 30%, I got to be at 30% or below, I'm going to get the most credit score points. I've heard that for 2 decades. That's not true. The true number on that is about 5 to 10%. Not zero. Zero's not going to kill you. A lot of people think that that's no good and there's no activity going on. More than likely, you're going to have other stuff, that's going to make up for that. But you want to keep your balances between 5 to 10%. That's the magic number. Not 30%, not zero, not 50%, not nothing else. Magic number, 5 to 10%. Okay. The other 15% is time on the bureau. How long have you been on the bureau? Did you have, again, back to the Mervyn's card? Did you have a Mervyn's card in 1988? Bond card in 1973. I remember seeing a ton of those. Older folks, I dealt with a lot of bankruptcy stuff years ago, and they'd have, an old Nordstrom's card from 1973, right? So that is the length of time on the bureau. That's going to cover about 15%, okay? 10% is new credit. What kind of new accounts do you got? Do you got a new credit card? Do you got a new car loan? Do you got a new mortgage? Any sort of new credit. You guys, that also includes inquiries. I've touched a couple times on inquiries. Those are the most overlooked thing as far as credit goes on how they can really hurt you. I mean, really, really hurt you too. And I'm going to get to that number here in just a minute. This will blow your mind away too. Okay, so new credit, that's about 10%. The other 10% is a mix of credit. What do you got going on? Do you got nothing but car loans or nothing but credit cards and no car loan? Or do you got a little bit of mix of everything? A couple student loans, a car loan, a couple credit cards, whatever that case is, your mix of credit. Not necessarily too important, but the important part of this is what's going to get you to an 800 plus credit score. You see folks in 800 credit score, there's not a lot of them out there. And you need basically 3 major things for that. You need a mortgage, number one, period, end of story. Okay. Then you need a major installment loan, car loan, okay? And then you need a couple, 3 or 4 credit cards. That, the combination of the length on the bureau, that's going to get you that 800 plus credit. Obviously, no late fees and inquiries too, okay? Back to the inquiry portion of this. How these really, really, really hurt you is, the truth of this is it's about 6 to a 9 month span. If you have four or more credit card inquiries, you're not going to get your best loans. Okay. You're not going to get the best funding, the loans. The trouble that I see with my clients trying to get these business loans is they've tried everywhere. Again, back to those 2 3/4 pages of inquiries, dead in the water. A lot of those people can't even get a $300 secured credit card at First Premier Bank. One of those type of places. Inquiries are a hidden silent killer as far as credit goes. Okay. So a lot of my time is spent getting inquiries off of there because they absolutely destroy you. I've noticed such a huge increase the last decade with everybody doing everything online, applying for credit cards, applying for car loans, doing this, having some strange company get a hold of your information, and then they shotgun you to 15 different banks. All of those banks are pulling these folks' credit, So that's a little bit about that right there. Okay, the next topic here is removing public records. What is a public record? A public record is 3 things only: judgment, bankruptcy, or tax lien. Nothing else is. No child support or old charge-offs or foreclosures or anything like that. Once again, write this down, you guys. Public records, this is how we remove them. But they are judgments, bankruptcy, tax lien. Those are the 3. And also, too, with the credit repair companies, the credit companies, they don't want to hear what we have to say, or they definitely don't believe it. And this is why the typical dispute letters don't work. For 20 years, I've heard people, well, I've filled out dispute letters and I've tried for years and years and years. They don't work. That's what these credit repair companies are doing. That's the traditional thing everybody thinks works. They just do not work. Okay. So, up next, I'm going to introduce you to eOscar. That is e-oscar.org. Your typical consumer or the credit repair company, whoever you've hired, whoever's doing it, when they send out the old traditional dispute letters, they send them TransUnion. That goes to Pennsylvania. Your Equifax is going to go to Atlanta. Your Experian is going to go to Costa Mesa or some other places like that. You might as well just light them on fire. Send them to the fax as unknown and whatever, right? So, long story short, that letter is going to arrive somewhere. Okay. So, this is pretty interesting stuff here. Once that letter arrives, wherever it arrives at the credit bureaus, this is your dispute letter. Okay. A machine scans the envelope, then opens the envelope, scans and reads the letter, takes all that information that they've gathered there. Remember, this is a machine that's scanning and doing all of this stuff. They reduce it down to a 2 or 3 digit code. Okay. This gets pretty crazy. It's really super interesting. Okay. Once it's coded, it gets sent over to a dispute processor. Okay. Now, guess where these dispute processors are at? TransUnion, they're in India. Equifax, they're in the Philippines. Experian is in Chile. I think sometimes Jamaica as well. Okay. So they're sent over there to different countries. Okay. Now, keep in mind, too, these guys are making pennies on the dollar, whatever they make, not a lot of money. They're not the most educated people, probably, I'm sure. Nothing against them. It's their countries and their jobs. Okay. So these guys, once they get their little 3-digit codes, 2-digit coding systems over there, they have anywhere from about 20, 25 seconds up to maybe 90 seconds at the most to process the dispute. Okay. What they do is they go to verify it. They send a signal using eOscar, back to eOscar a little bit. Again, we'll touch on that more. And then it'll go out to a third party. If it's a public record, it goes to a third party. And that third party is LexisNexis. Remember that word, LexisNexis. Okay. So we'll touch on that LexisNexis here too. Okay, so LexisNexis, that's LexisNexis. Most people never even heard of this, don't know what they are, but they are a nasty, nasty, nasty company. Okay. They have a file on all of us. Okay. You don't even know what they are, but they know about us. Okay. I'm going to show you some things here too that is pretty cool, really. Okay. Now, what this company is, the credit agencies basically believe this is where they go. This is their go-to. Okay. So they rely on them. They believe them. Okay. So how do we get out of that? We have to suppress LexisNexis. Okay. Not that hard to do. Again, this information here, I'm going to give this totally for free. This is stuff that lawyers, they're basically filling out a 1-page form and they're charging $3, $5, $8, $10,000, whatever they can get. You know what lawyers do to do this for you. And it's basically a 1-page form is what it is. Okay. So you're going to go to the website, just type in the Google, just type in LexisNexis opt-out. And I think it's the second one off the top of my head, I remember. And what it'll say is suppression request. Okay. Make sure you get on that or get on the actual LexisNexis site, forms, suppression request form. Okay. So go to that form. Now, this is just a basic form. It's got all your basic information in there. This is 100% super, super important, or this will not work at all. Okay. Only fill out the things on there that have the red asterisk next to it. Only the red asterisks. Make sure you guys are writing all this down. Again, repetitive, sorry. LexisNexis, LexisNexis. Okay. You're going to type into Google LexisNexis opt out, click on that form. And what we're doing here is suppressing this. Okay, so only fill out the red asterisks. It's going to look funny to you some. I remember the first couple years I did it, I'd get on that page and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm leaving out an email or the social number, the date of birth. Do not put any of that in. I repeat, none of that. Just the stuff with the red asterisks. Click OK. All right. And then it's going to ask for a reason. And it's the very top one that's on there. Okay. And what it's going to say is it says, I do not want my information publicly available via LexisNexis products. Make sure you select that top button. And then all you're going to do is hit OK and submit. Okay. That's all you got to do with that. Remember, LexisNexis suppression request form, only the red asterisks. Only. No emails, no date of birth, no social numbers, nothing else. Red asterisks only. Okay, guys, so step 2 of this is what we're going to do is send an affidavit to the court. And here's how. A website called pacer.gov. Some of you might have heard of it, okay? Now, you can suppress the LexisNexis information, which we just went over, right? But you cannot suppress Pacer, okay? Government website. So here's how we get around that. Now, this is pretty cool, okay? So the affidavit to the court, an affidavit is an affidavit, a statement of fact, okay? So what you're going to do, this is usually notarized and signed and all that. And what a statement of fact is, again, is simply that, a statement of fact, okay? Now, what we're going to ask the court is, does the court ever submit to the credit agencies directly? The answer is no. Every time it's a no. They do not submit directly to them, okay? Now, LexisNexis relies on a third party to get their info. Now, imagine that, right? Okay? So, once you send the affidavit, we're asking the court, do you or do you not provide the credit agencies any info? And the answer is always no. So now we want them to send their reply in a self-addressed envelope that you put in there, okay? Send the reply. It's going to have the letterhead and all that good stuff on there. And then what we do once we get that, we attach that to a demand letter, okay? And then you resubmit it, send it over, and that dispute processor has no choice but to remove it. Okay, you follow me here? It's done. He has no choice. We have the demand letter attached to it stating to the court that they do not give that information out. So it's done. The dispute processor has to delete it, and that's really simply it, okay? Now, that's how you get rid of public record. And we'll go into more a little bit details about that too, but pretty amazing stuff, a lot of behind the scenes stuff, and it's really amazing. And it's pretty cool too, to figure all this out and expose a lot of, the LexisNexis and the Pacers and all that. A lot of people just, that's again, and I'm kind of repetitive and mumbling on here, but that's why dispute letters don't work. And this here, what we've just touched over the last 20 minutes, is how you make them work. Pretty amazing. Okay, and then one last homework assignment here before we wrap up. We're coming up on the hour. We're going to have another video webinar tomorrow. And again, these will all be recorded. This one's recorded, and the one tomorrow will be recorded in case anybody missed anything or is late. Fair Credit Reporting Act. You guys probably heard of it. Some of you have. Google that. Get familiar with that. You don't have to sit there and read it like the Bible, portions of it here and there, but get familiar with that. We'll get into that later. There's a lot to do with that too. Fair Credit Reporting Act. Get familiar with that. Okay. So tomorrow's video, again, we're just doing an hour here tonight. We'll do another hour tomorrow. It looks like we still got, 63 people still online here. So cool. Good. Thanks, guys. Tomorrow we're going to go over more stuff. We went over a few things today. The introduction, that was great. Tomorrow we're going to talk about how to get rid of collections, then charge-offs, how to update some late payments on there. That really dings you too. Removing student loans. We're going to cover just about all the bases like we talked about in the beginning. Then most importantly is making money. Again, that's why we're here, right? We're going to talk about marketing. A lot, again, back to the entrepreneur thing of this. there's so much to this. We'll touch on some more, but I'm sure people's minds are racing and figuring out what you can do with all this stuff too. So we're going to talk about that and how to get you guys paid. The last webinar that we did, I think we had that within 7 days. It might have been 8 days. We had 4 people that made money in less than a week. Okay, so it's so simple to do. You're going to have to, again, the easiest thing probably to do, unless you want to full bore get out of the gate and get your bond and all that stuff, is just become an affiliate. Become an affiliate, get the website, and you're ready to roll. And you're going to get so many tools and referral systems and how you're going to make money on the credit repair end of things, how we're going to give you referrals for getting us customers once their credit gets fixed too. And I just don't have time for this. We're really, really busy on this end of things. And I love credit repair. I've been in this industry it's all I've ever done. I can count 19 years old, but it's a true passion of mine. It's really cool that, learning all this stuff and behind the scenes, and I put a lot of work into it too. So again, you guys, thanks for joining us. We're coming up again on an hour. Tomorrow we're going to cover again, removing student loans, charge-offs, update the late payments. We'll go over a lot of the marketing stuff, and again, how to get you guys paid. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you a little bit later. Bye-bye. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We're live again. This will be video number 2. If you missed video number 1, make sure you watch that one first. If you were with us live last night, I know we had close to 70 people in your live. If you missed that one, make sure you watch video number 1 first. This is number 2. A little bit before 7 now. I kind of wanted to go over a few things we went over yesterday. We did the introduction, who we are, what we know, what we do, why we're different. I've kept a lot of this information in for years and years and years, as this is what I did. But now expanding out and getting into the business loan side of things, and I just don't have time for it anymore. So this is the first couple of videos that I'm going to share here. Get this information out there, see what you guys are thinking. Again, we're here to make money. Most of you are. A lot of you are here to fix your credit, and that's great too. Both of them are. But there again, and I've said this a lot of times, there's a lot of money to be made here. And if you guys listen and take this stuff seriously and you want to put in the time and effort, this business is for you. It is super simple. It's repetitive. It's simple. It's the same thing over and over and over again. Okay. Wanted to talk a little bit about trade lines and getting credit. A lot of clients you'll see, and I had this trouble when I was in the car business, they just didn't have anything established. Maybe an old credit card, something that was charged off, a medical bill, maybe a Sprint collection or something like that. The way the banks look at it, and I was told this 20 years ago, is, hey, who have they paid? Is it on time? And what's the size of the loan? Okay. So the folks that don't have that, you're not going to run into a ton of people like that have, that are looking for business loans. They're going to be established. They're going to have some sort of hiccup, hang up, late payments due to the economy or the business being slow, whatever that case is. But there's lots of ways to get credit. One of the coolest things is, and a lot of you guys probably heard about this too, is authorized user trade lines. Now, all you got to do is Google that. So once you Google that, there's going to be a bunch of companies. I use 3 different ones, and use your best judgment. Most of them are pretty good. They're doing the same thing, but what you're basically doing is piggybacking on somebody else's credit. Totally legal. There's nothing illegal about it. When I first heard about it years ago, I was like, wait a minute, is that right? I figured some underground company or something like that, but that's not the case at all. So you're just going to basically Google that. Just add trade lines to my credit or something of that nature. Put in authorized user trade line, and really neat. It'll walk you right through it. You go to the websites, and let's say you need a piece of credit bigger than $25,000. You can get that there legally. So that's one of them there too. Other ones that are super easy to do is, secured credit cards. There's a million different companies out there, even like a Fingerhut. That was an old website. I remember my grandmother had a catalog for those guys, but they're great. They'll give you $1,000 and they don't really even care about their credit. They'll do some people in the 400s. So that's a good one. Then there's a bunch of credit card companies, Surge, Credit One, Open Sky, First Premier Bank. There's tons and tons of those too. I've used this tool for years and years and years, but it's called Horizon Horizon Credit Card Services, Horizon Services. And what that is a $5,000 line of credit that's guaranteed to anyone. Okay. Now, if you Google and read their reviews, there's going to be hundreds of them in there that are terrible, because the way they present this is that you're going to get a $5,000 line of credit. You're approved. The credit card's coming in the mail. Then you get the credit card. And what that credit card is, it's an online shopping network where you have to buy their products. They're way too much. You have to pay for shipping, the whole deal. And they're going to charge you, I think if you negotiate it, because I've done this twice. With my second bankruptcy, I called these guys 2 months after discharge. I gave them, they wanted $50 a month. I negotiated down to $25 a month. They're going to take anything. Nobody's going to use it in their right mind. But if it's done correctly, this is a wonderful tool to get a $5,000 piece of credit. So I always tell people that, and then you're helping people along. You're building that trust with them. And you never want to use it. I had one guy years ago that came back and his score actually dropped. And I'm like, what is going on here? So he maxed out this entire $5,000 line of credit. I don't know what he bought, but that entire website, you could probably buy the whole website for $5,000. So he maxed it out, didn't pay for it. It showed late and was eventually charged off. But that was a one-time deal, and that's obviously not good, right? So the other thing you can get into too is jeweler cards. There's a ton of those. K Jewelers is one too. Those are usually a lot of people, younger kids, 18, 19 years old will get that line of credit because they'll give it to anybody, So that's a good one to use. And then, if you got somebody that's close to their family, or if you guys wanted to do this, have your mom, grandmother, aunt add you as an authorized user. All they do is call the credit card companies. They add you as an authorized user. Grandma or grandpa or aunt or uncle's probably not going to give you the credit card. Not the design here. It's for credit purposes only. So all it's going to do, it'll show on your credit too. It'll show the date that it opens, and it's going to show whatever that credit limit is, a $25,000 Amex card, Capital One card for $10,000, $15,000, whatever that case is. Those are really, really, really good tools. The other thing that we talked about yesterday is getting your business going and how easy that is. It's all done by the internet. You might have to go down to your county office and do a business license that way. But for the most part, this is all online. Like we talked about yesterday, website, more than likely out of the gate, you would just want to become an affiliate. That helps a lot of ways too, because if you're an affiliate with a company, then if they've been around since 1996, hey, this company's been around since 1996. That's you. You're part of that company, right? The other thing is advertising your business. A lot of people, when I did this 20 years ago, and when I first got into this in the late 90s, mid 90s, the internet wasn't crazy. There was no Facebook or, none of that stuff. Nowadays, it's unbelievable. Facebook, Twitter, Craigslist, million different places to get this information. YouTube is unbelievable. Some of these too, we're going to go into how you get leads here too. A lot of this too is once you get rolling with this, you're going to obviously want to get more business, right? There's a bunch of paid leads, and I'll share with you guys too later what those are. And there's a lot of great companies and there's a lot of bad companies. When you're searching leads, the last thing you want to do is put in bad credit leads. There's going to be tons of different places. It's basically a lot of those are the same people applying. When somebody's applying for a loan, auto loan, mortgage, whatever, mortgage is a little bit different because normally those people are good credit folks. But let's just say bad credit car loans, who knows who's on the other side of that? So you've got all these companies getting hold of your information. They're sending out to a million different places. They're all the same cesspool of leads. A lot of those companies are. So long story short, you really got to know where to get those leads from. I mean, some of them are fine if you want to sit there and spend and call all these people that are going to hang up on you. But I just don't, I never want to give bad advice, and I'm kind of jumping ahead here a few steps. Tons of free leads. There's so much you can do with this, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But just be very careful if you're going to pay for leads and what they are. Let me know what the companies are. I've got tons of them that I've used over the years that are really, really good. All right, so we're going to jump right into the next step of this here. Next thing we're going to talk about is how to get rid of charge-offs. Okay, what is a charge-off? A charge-off is anything that is not public record. Okay, The credit agencies use a third party. Okay, the third party for these charge-offs is ID Analytics. All right, ID Analytics. And this is very similar to LexisNexis. You're going to take those same steps to freeze this. Okay, so get on the, they're going to use a sister company. Okay, that sister company's name is SageStream. Now, what you want to do with that is go to that website. That website's SageStreamLLC.com. And what we're going to do is freeze your ID Analytics and your SageStream from this StreamLLC.com website. All right. So once you're on the SageStream website, what you're going to do is hit the Security Freeze tab. It'll be in the upper, a little bit towards the right, almost dead center, a little bit towards the right. You're going to hit on that, okay, and the Security Freeze tab. Now, what you're going to do there, your information is going to be in there, where to send this to, okay? So what you're going to do is write a simple letter to these guys telling you that you want to freeze my credit report with your company. That's it. A couple sentences. Make sure you put in who it's to. Very important also, too, on the bottom. You're going to want to put in your name, social number, address, phone number, date of birth, all of your exact information in there, too, on the bottom. Super important for obvious reasons, right? So once the letter's done, what you're going to want to do is attach a copy of your driver's license and your social security card. Okay, make copies of those, attach that to your simple letter, and then also, too, they're going to want to have a piece of mail that goes to your house. Now, don't just grab a love letter from the neighbor or something of that nature. Grab something, utility bill, bank statement, credit card statement, phone bill, cable bill, something like that from a company. Okay, that shows and proves where you're at and who you are, all of those documents there. And then all you're going to do is fax it. Now, once you're on that freeze page there, that fax number is at the very bottom, and I'll give it to you if you need it and want to write this down. Remember, take notes, you guys. We did that yesterday. I'm sure a lot of you are. The fax number there is 858-312-6275. And once you have it all faxed over there, give it a few days to make sure everything gets through their system and all that good stuff too. And then real simple, the credit agencies cannot verify this information. They are blocked from that third party. Remember, third party, I've said this 19 times probably by now, third party. Everyone uses a third party. Think about that. So that's step one of getting rid of the charge-offs, okay? Remember, ID Analytics, you're going to go to their sister page, which is SageStream LLC. That's where you're going to do your freeze, okay? Remember, write just a simple letter saying, freeze my credit report with your company, all of your information in there. Make sure it's all in there, okay? And then your social card, ID, passport, whatever you got, valid ID, and then that piece of mail, credit card, bank statement, cable bill, something of that nature. Again, repetitive, sorry, but again, you guys, simple steps. Follow all these steps exactly. Okay, and then this is for accounts less than $1,000. You guys grab your pens and papers and all that good stuff here too. Really neat stuff I'm about to share. Whether you're doing it yourself, you're doing it for your grandmother to fix her credit, whatever the case is, or more importantly, you're doing it for your clients, this is where they got to step in. And again, you guys, make sure from the very first phone call with your clients, you have to make them understand, let them know that they're going to have to put in this effort too, because you need them for a lot of stuff. We don't want to miss anything. You do not want to have the wrong letters go to the wrong fax number. You don't want the wording to be incorrect. If your wording is too similar, remember yesterday we talked about these machines that open these letters and scan and read. That is another little hint or another little clue why most of these credit repair companies, they use generic letters that have been scanned in a gazillion times, okay? So it kicks it and your dispute does not work, all right? So whether it's you, your clients, whatever that case is, what you want to do is have them call the collection. Whatever that company is, whatever that charge-off is, they have to call. And then just what they're going to do is get an operator on the phone and just say something similar to, I just reviewed my credit and noticed there was a collection or charge-off, whatever those are, but I'm willing to settle this now. Then, you know, you're going to get the collection guy on the phone because they're going to answer the phone, the whole deal. This is an attempt to collect a debt, that whole thing. So they've got somebody on the other end that says they're going to pay. They're not used to that. So most people don't do that. They want to call and say, this isn't me, or my ex-wife did this, or my girlfriend or the neighbor, whatever. So you're willing to pay. They're going to be excited. They're going to want to talk to you. All right. So another little trick to this, once you get the guy on the phone, you're going to tell how he is. If he's real stern and he's Mr. I'm going to collect all this money right now type of guy, probably not the guy you want to talk to. So hang up, call back 20 minutes later, 10 minutes later, the next day, whatever. There's millions of people that are going to answer the phone. All right. So let's just say you owe $1,000. You're calling this company that you owe $1,080 to, right? So whatever, I ran into some hard times, whatever you want to do for an excuse or a sob story, and just say, I'm willing to settle this today. Will you take $300, $200, whatever number you want to throw out there, right? We're obviously not going to pay this full amount today. So let's just say the guy is non-negotiable and he wants, I'll take $100 off, or I want the full 1,080, whatever the deal is there. Hang up, call back like we talked about. But let's just say he settles at $300. Okay, great. And then he's all excited. He's going to take credit card information and, all that stuff. We're paid and he's done his job. So he's going to say, Mr. Customer, what's your credit card information? I'll take that payment right now. We'll wrap this up today. And you're going to say, no, I'm going to send in a check. He's going to say, nope, we're not doing that. We want a money order, bank wire. We want this money now. He doesn't want a check from you, right? So he's going to keep hounding you, and you just got to be persistent. And no, I'm sending a check in to pay this bill. That's what I'm doing. So if he doesn't give in, again, call back. They're probably going to give in because at this point they know that you're not going to pay with a credit card. Okay, so you got the check all ready to go. And what we're doing here, and you can Google this too, it's all public information, but it's called Restrictive Endorsement Agreement. All right, so you're making the check out, the $300, whatever the balance number is that you've negotiated. And then on the back of the check, you're going to write something, pretty similar to this, by negotiating this check in the amount that we've agreed upon today. This is paid in full and as agreed, paid in full as agreed. And please remove this from my credit. Put that on the back of that check. Again, that's called a restrictive endorsement agreement. Just something like that on the back of it. It doesn't have to take up the whole back of the check. So these are going to go off to the mail room where a machine's opening up all the mail. They're depositing the checks, putting it in whatever column they're going to do. They're going to deposit the check, right? So once that check is in there and you've written this on the back of this and you've paid this balance in full, you have a legal binding contract. Everyone knows what that means. Now remember, legal binding contract, remove from my credit, right? So once that is done, they have no choice but to remove it. And again, back to the other credit repair companies, or if you Google this and try to do this on your own, wrong forms, wrong fax numbers, whatever the case is. That's why, back to the credit bureaus really quick, I'll touch on this, but that's why if you Google Equifax fax number, okay, try doing that or something similar to that. There's so many numbers, departments, where this thing's going, and they're going to end up, the credit bureaus do not want these things going away. All right. That's why most of this stuff just simply doesn't work. All right. So that's how you do that. And then on to the items that are over $1,000. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to freeze your SageStream, right? SageStream, excuse me. You're going to freeze that. Then, guys, what you're going to do is prepare a demand letter. Now, you're going to have access to all these demand letters that are done properly. Most of these, again, sending them the wrong fax number. The letters aren't right. They get rejected because the machine picks up on too much repetitive stuff that's out there. The same letter being sent in by the credit repair agency down the road, or someone that Googled a generic one that the machine has seen 100 times. Okay. So preparing your demand letter, we're going to have access to all those too. All right. In the letter, what you want to do, back to your homework assignment, is the Fair Credit Reporting Act. All right. So what you're going to do, this is in section 609. Okay. You want to cite that in your letter. All right. And then what you're going to do with these are for items over $1,000. You're going to ask in the demand letter who the person was that you talked to. Who was the person? Their name, what they do in the company, their contact information, etc. So once you've got all that in there, the next step, what they're going to do, again, onto the third party. They're going to go to that third party. That stuff's not there. So it's gone. Again, to that third party, you're going to hear that over and over and over again. It's just like a big cycle of nonsense, right? So that's that. Next thing I want to touch on, you guys, is student loans. This is one thing it drives people nuts. They just kind of forget about them. They're there on their credit bureau. I'm 45 years old, and I've got, buddies that I'm in with high school. I had one gal that I went to school with. I've known her since probably middle school, somewhere in there. But she literally, I think this was about 2 years ago, just got done paying her student loans back. So being in the car business all the years too, I've seen tons and tons and tons of student loans. Almost 95, whatever this might be a little strong, but probably 90% plus are deferred, meaning they're in a deferment status. They're not being paid. They're just kind of laying there, and they are what they are. Okay. So here's a little inside scoop on student loans too. All of the student loans are insured. They're insured. Now, why would that be? A lot of people are probably thinking to themselves right now, well, kind of what we were just touching on. They don't get paid. So the insurance companies, they're all insured, right? So once that insurance kicks in, and this is really cool too, this information it's fine. You can find it, but it's really tough to come by. Once that insurance policy kicks in, they're gone. They're going to sit on your credit. They're going to stay there. People might bring it up when you're applying for a loan. Well, what's going on with these student loans? They're going to look ugly. You're sick of looking at them. You've looked at them from age 18 or 21 or whenever you took these things out. They're laying there. But the truth of the matter is once that insurance policy kicks in, these are removable. Okay. So also too, fire up another demand letter. Okay. We're going to show you how to get those as well too. But once you have the demand letter, the credit agencies, whatever they're reporting on the student loan, whatever company it is, they can't report. So you've got two ways out of those. And those are a big nightmare. I've seen thousands and thousands and thousands of student loans. I'm in such a mindset for 20 plus years of answering student loan questions and the banks are too. They know they're just deferred. Are they paid off? No. Rarely will you see any of those things paid. They just lay there. And that's why they're insured. 80, 90% of those they're insured. So that's pretty cool. Really simple for that one. Okay, guys, the next thing we're going to touch on is child support. Okay. The other thing I wanted to say real quick is don't think you need to memorize all this stuff right off the bat, and this is too much to take in. It's not. These videos, you can watch them over and over and over again, but everything you're going to need is in these. Okay. So do not think you're like, whoa, wait a minute. I just got done with the charge-offs or the inquiries. Whoa, no, don't. Just take it slow. If you got to pause it, if you want to watch it live like we're doing right now, great. If you got to go back and do it and pause it, take notes, do whatever. But don't think you're getting overwhelmed. Don't get overwhelmed is what I'm getting at. Okay, so on to the child support. So how you're going to treat child support is you're going to treat it like a collection. Okay, so the first thing you got to do is get the account numbers, or it's going to have, these are a little bit different because normally this is tied to a court case. So you're going to have a docket number. So docket number or an account number. So then it's the same process. You're going to go through SageStream. Then you're going to get your demand letters ready, right? Okay, so another thing to keep in mind too, this is not going to get rid of your child support debt. It's just going to prevent it from showing up on the credit bureaus, right? So you're still going to owe that money. So don't think you don't. Then what you're going to do is you're going to ask them to provide account number in your demand letter. Okay. So if you never notice on your credit bureau, and you will, since you pulled them, if you did your homework assignments, they're not going to show the whole account number, right? So you've suppressed that, you've gotten rid of that, you ask for that demand letter, and then it disputes, and then it goes over, and they can't verify it, right? All makes sense. And again, that goes back to that same repetitive, everything's the same, right? Demand letters, what you got to do first, follow those steps. Very, very critical. So that handles that there with the child support or alimony as well, too. Also, you guys, the credit bureaus, they have 30 days, a maximum of 30 days to handle that dispute. It doesn't usually happen, but if it goes over that, then it's going to be in your favor. But also, too, if you're having troubles with the credit bureaus themselves, there's a website, consumerfinance.gov, stands for Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And that's where you can put in, excuse me again, that's where you can put in a complaint to the credit bureaus. So you guys, on to the next one, and those are inquiries. If you watch the first video, a little bit of this one, I've talked about inquiries. Those are the silent killer. A lot of people overlook them. Oh, I got to get rid of this old Capital One credit card I have. Well, what about the 83 inquiries or the 23 inquiries? I've seen them. I talked about the first video, seeing that 2 3/4 pages of inquiries. Absolute killers. Okay. So this is my favorite one to go over with too. And this is one too where you can, with your clients, your customers, is they want to talk about, oh my gosh, I need this repossession gone, or I need this gone. When you get into detail about inquiries, 9 times out of 10, 49 times out of 50, they're going to be overlooked by the customer. They're going to go, oh, really? I didn't know that. I learned that a long time ago, and I learned how badly that those really do damage. And we talked about the other 4 inquiries in the 6 to 9 month span for applying for credit cards, what that does to you. The trouble these credit repair agencies have is, they're not as smart as the credit bureaus. These guys are brilliant. I mean, they have a system down pat, and unless you know this information, more than likely it's not going to work. So inquiries are super tough to get handled. And why that is they're plain as day. You applied through Capital One or Chase or a car dealership. It's going to have the name who pulled your credit. So it's as plain as day. That's the response you're going to get from the credit agencies. And that's when you do this on your own, or the Mr. Credit Repair company says, oh, well, we tried and this was a rarity. This never happens. It doesn't happen because they're just putting in the total wrong way of doing this, the total wrong letters, the total wrong fax numbers, the total wrong way of doing it. That's why they're not removed. And that's why 9 times out of 10, 49 times out of 50, those inquiries stay on your bureau. So this is how you really do it. Okay, so back to the Fair Credit Reporting Act. This is under Section 604, you guys. Write these 3 things down, all right? Number 1, written authorization. Number 2, proof that you did it. Number 3, permissible purpose, okay? So back to the demand letters, we're going to make one of these, and these 3 topics here, written authorization, you want them to provide written authorization that someone pulled your credit, okay? And then we want proof that you did it yourself. Now, most of this stuff, and we've talked about this a lot, everything most of the time, unless your grandma and grandpa walking into a bank and sitting down for a loan, is done online. Okay, so who's on the other end of this online? Then the third thing is the permissible purpose. So 1, written authorization. 2, proof that you did it. 3, permissible purpose. So what you're going to do in the demand letter, cite the Section 604, and then ask them to provide you with those 3 things that we just wrote down. Okay. Now, you guys, that normally works. 80–90% of the time, that will work. So if that doesn't work, here's the next step. Now, the inquiries that cannot be removed, let's say you just opened up a Chase card and you have a Chase card on your credit bureau, and that account is opened up the same month that Chase is reporting as an inquiry, not going to be removed. But what you do is, let's say you get a new credit card, couple new credit cards, apply for that piece of credit. Once you apply, wait for a couple days, 4 or 5 days, wait for that thing to hit your credit bureau. Then you go back and remove it before the account hits your credit bureau. That's a way of getting rid of those. And the reason I say that, a lot of people, they'll get multiple credit cards or do a 1-year promotion at 0%, and then they transfer it over to another card. There's a lot of people with, that should be a 880 credit score that are in the mid-7s. And the reason is those inquiries. And again, I've said this multiple times, that is what really kills you, is inquiries. Those people don't know it. They have beautiful credit, mortgages, credit cards, 30, 40 years of flawless credit. But when you're applying and taking these credit card balances and you're piling up these inquiries, it could be the difference in 30, 40 points to 100, 150 points. It really depends on what you're doing. So again, that's going to work 80–90% of the time. Now, what I found over the years, took me a lot of years to get this down, though, was, okay, once in a while, one didn't work. Now, again, back to the dispute processors that are overseas, if they're, in a rush or they're lazy or whatever the case is, they're just going to hit verify and it's going to just fire right through, right? So then you're like, okay, well, what the heck? Now that's what's going on with that. So what you got to do is you can either repeat the process or you can send it to the company and the creditor. Normally you don't have to do that, but repeating the process will work because you've got all this backup that we just did. So that's that. That's pretty cool stuff too. Remember the inquiries, I would preach that from the beginning. I know I've gone over it many, many times on how they hurt you, but a lot of your clients too, they're going to have a lot of inquiries. So the first thing you want to talk about is those inquiries and get rid of those. That's a big deal because those are killing people's credit score points. That's why they can't get these big loans. Somebody looking to borrow 30, 60, 80, 100, $200,000, if they've got multiple inquiries in there, they're in automatic decline at most banks. Auto decline due to inquiries. A lot of people see those. You get a decline letter in the mail, it's going to say excessive inquiries. Big killer, overlooked killer. I can't say enough about that. Okay, guys, we touched on a lot of credit, how to get rid of a lot of things on the Bureau. That's just some of it. I just wanted to put that information out there, let everyone know that we do know what we're talking about, why this stuff is different. The next thing we want to talk about, we talked a ton about credit, okay, what we need to do. Let's talk about getting paid. And the most important thing here I'll touch on first is how to get these clients. The last 7-8 years for me with every sort of online, it's amazing. I'm just kind of overwhelmed even where to start with how much you can do online, from the simple stuff, Craigslist, local papers, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. There's so many, and what I did years ago is I just Googled how do you start advertising your online business. Most of you know we're advanced now in 2018 to where, most people know what's what and how you can get it out of there. But the one thing too, that this really works, and a lot of people go, gosh, I don't want to spend a lot of time doing that, or is that really going to work? The answer to what I'm going to tell you is 100% yes. Okay. So the best thing to do is send out, 40, 50, 60 of these, but where I'm getting at where you're going to find clients. This is an awesome way to start, especially if you don't want to just dive in. A lot of people, sure, most of us don't have a ton of money. That's why we're here, right? We don't have just to dive in and open up a credit repair store and all the fancy glass tables and receptionists and all that stuff too. This is done from home, on the couch. On the couch, coffee table, you don't have to go anywhere. If you're in some state where you got to go down and get your business license, run down there and get it. Easy. The website, everything else is online. It's simple to start. But what you're going to do, these are where you're going to find clients, businesses that are looking to borrow money. Okay, and I'll go over this on how you do this. Pretty simple to do. A lot of people go, well, God, that's boring. No. If you want to make money, again, back to the repetitiveness, I have sent out thousands and thousands of emails on this subject we're touching on right now. Okay. So what you're going to want to do is start sending out emails, and it's a simple email. I'll show you a guideline of what's pretty good in these emails and why they're responsive. But this is where you're going to go to get the client's email addresses. Grab a pen again, you guys. Good one for emails are the general ones that are out there: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Okay. Then there's other ones. Now write these websites down too. iCrowd, just an I, the letter I, crowd.com. Startups.co, TechCrunch.com, TechCrunch.com, Angel.co, EquityNet.com, Kickstarter.com, Crowdfunder.com, and FundingPost.com. Those are just a few, to name a few. And then there's other stuff that's not online. Like if you wanted to get out, if you guys, buddy of mine that's done this with me for about 6 years now, I got him out of the car business years ago, but he's the kind of guy that just hates being inside by the computer. So I'm that guy. I love doing it, but he's the one out running all over places, mortgage companies, car lots, businesses. He's doing all the on the ground stuff, which is great too. Then you're in front of somebody, you're face to face. A lot of business owners, There's some old school guys that don't like computers. They want a good old fashioned handshake, you know? So let's just throw one out there like fundingpost.com. If you get on that site or most of the other sites that are on there, all you got to do is browse the companies, okay? And then you're going to see the companies that are looking for money. They're all over there. Some of them on some of these sites that'll say like this company looking for X amount of dollars and all that good stuff on there too. So then what you're going to do is you're going to blast a simple email to these guys. Nothing crazy, nothing spammy or fishy or over the top or begging or too much, I want your money today type thing. Just simple stuff. So once you find the name of these businesses, this is all public information. Everything that we are doing, it's public information. So we're not doing anything illegal here. So find the companies, and this can go anywhere. If you found somebody on Craigslist or you join a Facebook page that's, people looking for money, there's a zillion private Facebook pages. If you start Googling them, they'll let you in. And, I belong to, I don't know, I think the last time I checked was like over 2,800 groups. And those are solely for business. Okay. So there's a website called Whois. You guys probably have heard of it. There's several of them that you can do this with. But all you got to do is put in you're finding the information of the owner of the company that's looking for the money, right? So go to the Whois site, and then what you're going to do is just put in the name, and then it's going to do a search for you, and it's going to give you the information of the owners. Pretty simple, right? I don't suggest calling them right off the bat. I mean, you can make a pile of companies to call. It sounds to me, I'm not a big pushy guy. I let my knowledge and my expertise speak for itself in everything that I do. But you're more than welcome to call. But what I would do is just send out a simple email. That way you're not pushy and you're not trying to sound like a salesperson and, all that jazz. Now, some of those too, when you put in the Whois there, if they're done at like GoDaddy or Vistaprint or a company that does those, then it's going to come up as they're the owner, GoDaddy, Vistaprint, whoever the company is. So those are private websites. Now, if they're private, there's a couple things you can do. Okay, so what you would do is just put in email space. This is in Google. Email space. Don't write space, just a space bar. Email space bar, star space bar at the domain name. Okay, that's another search you can do too. And then there's a company website called Mail Tester. There's ways of doing that, but for the most part, you're going to get the business email, phone number, and state and all that good stuff too. So that's how you do that. And then you're just going to prepare your letter or your email. I'm sorry. Okay, so guys, so what you want to do in your email is just in the subject line, just put in my contact, my info, something not too spammy, right? So in the email, just put in hi, the customer's name, and then my name is such and such. I seen your profile on Craigslist, LinkedIn, one of the websites that I gave you guys, whatever you put in there. Looks like an awesome idea, but I see you have not been able to get a loan to meet your needs. I would be happy to show you how I can help with 0 upfront fees. If this is something you're interested in, contact me anytime. Something similar to that. You don't have to use that wording. That's just something I came up with the top of my head, but something similar to that. You don't want to sound too salesman-y, too pushy, okay? So then in the bottom of that, put your name in there and all of your contact information. You don't want to just put Jeff or Larry or Mike and hit enter or submit or send, right? So put in all your info because these people are not dummies. They're not stupid. They're business owners. They're real people. They're going to want to know who's on the other end of this. So that's why it's very important from the beginning to put in the subject line, nothing spammy, call them by their first name, introduce yourself, obviously, and then put all of your information in there. Remember, back to day one, you're a business now. So you're going to have the website. You're going to have an email address. You're going to have a Twitter account, Facebook page, whatever. Put as much information as you can. Phone numbers. The other thing you probably want to get to is don't use your regular cell numbers. You can get a 1-800 number. They're all over the internet. Most of them are free. But the one that I chose years ago is just an answering service. That way you can check messages, get back to them. Or if you want to field phone calls, you can do that too. That's up to you. But the more information that's put in this initial email, the better. You don't want just a single name and thanks and hope that you're going to get a response. These people are going to check you out. They're going to want to know who you are, what you know, You have a website, you're in business, you're not just some yayo out the street trying to squeeze money out of them or whatever you're trying to do, right? So these work. I've done these for basically 9 years now. And of course, they're not going to respond, every one of them. I remember sending out 100 a day, 150 a day, and I'd get 40, 50 response rate, 40, 50% response rate. Other times I'd get 10, 20%. All depends. These are free. Why not send them? Sit down, watch Maury Povich or watch the kids if you're doing this part-time or whatever the case is. But you can do this from a laptop. You can do it your cell phone. It's not going to be fun, but laptop, computer, watching TV at night with your family, whatever. They're simple to do and they're free. So guys, about responding to emails, you don't ever want to come across as a banker or I know it all or any of that stuff. No salesman-y, or, don't just start throwing questions on there about, how much do you need? How's your credit and all that? Get to know the client. Ask them about their business. Ask them how long they've been in business, stuff like that. Are you local? Some of your clients will be out of state. Get to know them as a person. Then, a lot of them will just jump right into it, because if you're going to get somebody with credit issues, you'll know that off the bat. Hey, I've tried getting loans over the last 6 months and no one will help me and this, that, the other thing. That's good for you. That's where the credit, repair comes into play. If these people can't get funding, cannot get loans right out of the gate, and they've struggled for 6 months for anyone to talk to them because they've been turned down everywhere, that's where you come in. Then, okay, you got some credit issues. This is how you're going to clean up your inquiries. You applied for how long did you say? 6 months? Oh my gosh, you must have 1 million inquiries on there. Then you can go over inquiries, how those are the silent killer, like I like to call them, right? Or if they've got repossessions or charge off, or if they're maxed out or whatever the case is, that's where you fix the credit. Now, if they're ready just to go right into funding, then that's where I come to play, and you can refer them to me then, right? So a lot of these guys, though, too, on those websites, or if you're just targeting bad credit, then these people are going to need help. They're going to need their credit built and better to get any sort of loans out there. They've tried. A lot of folks are in desperate need, so again, that's where your credit company comes into play. And then you just go over all the steps that we talked about. Why can't you get loans? What's going on? Find out, explain. There's so much to it. There really is. And you guys get what I'm getting at with that. That's where you truly come into play. That's where you get good at your craft. What to do, when to say, what times, and so on. And that's why, again, guys, I've touched on this, I don't know how many times the last couple hours, 2 videos of this, but there's just so much to this. A simple free lead on the internet, sending an email over. Next thing you know, you got a guy that's just spilling his guts out to you. I need help. I'm going to lose my business. It's really neat. You just get going with it and going and going. And just the possibilities are really, truly endless, right? Okay, guys, the next step in this and what we're going to go over now is what you're going to get from us, all right? You're going to get all of your right forms, your business forms, applications, demand letters, contracts, all that good stuff with the correct wording in there. I know we've touched on that a lot too, okay? You're going to get additional mentoring videos from us with a ton of information on there on different lead sources, little hidden secrets behind the internet, some more stuff that we didn't touch on in the first couple videos, but priceless information there. You're also going to get additional videos that we've came across on with a lot of good information in there too. And then you're going to get support from us, okay? You're going to get 30 days of email support. We're not going to answer a bunch of questions that are repetitive in these videos. That's why I tell you guys, please, if you haven't watched it in the entirety or you've watched bits and pieces of it, go back and watch it all again. Watch it a couple times if you have to. But for the most part, 99% of what you guys need to know is in here, all right? So you're going to get all the additional videos from us. You're going to get additional videos that we've came across as well. You're also going to get all the forms, demand letters, applications, contracts, and all that stuff. And then, obviously, the support, okay? So no matter what you guys want to do with this, if you're here to fix your own credit or if you're here to start the business, do whatever. The day and age we're in now with the internet and this thing being so massive out there, Our charge for this now is $100. It's $99.95. We did this back in 2009 till about 2013 on and off, and we've charged up to $5,000 for this whole entire package. $24,995, $2,500, $1,995, $2,000, $1,000 or whatever. This is a great opportunity. We're in the day and age where, this can be spread out all over the internet. You can find everything you need to know on the internet, so on and so forth. Okay. So the next step in this, you guys, send us an email. The email is flashing on the screen. Okay. So the info at credit650.com. Email me there. I can send you an invoice through email there through a secure checkout, Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, whatever you got to use. And then also, too, you're going to get in writing, everything that you're going to get. So we know what's going to come in this, all right? So give me that. Shoot me the email. Make sure you guys put in a code, put in credit 2018. That way I can honor that price. I know you guys either came from the live webinar or you came for the recorded webinar. So shoot us that email there, info@credit650.com. All the videos, all the forms, documents, all that good stuff, and then the support from us, okay? So $100, you guys, $99.95, all right? That is worth alone just if you wanted to get a collection off your credit bureau or a charge off or whatever, okay? So thanks, you guys. I hope you enjoyed the videos. If you got to go back and watch them, shoot us an email, info@credit650.com.